A CANbus network, it's pretty basic. It's a single twisted pair cable that acts as a backbone or a trunk where drops are off of this trunk that go to the different electronic control units or the devices. So it's a linear network and it's very easy to use. The components are very versatile and it needs to be terminated on both ends with a resistance at 120 ohm impedance resistor. And that's the physical layer of a bus network, and in particular a CANbus network. So it makes it very easy to use for these applications, and we've seen a big increase in the number of requests we get for CANbus network components. This CANbus network allows devices to listen and talk to each other all along the line. And as far as networks go, CANbus is relatively low data rate compared to like Ethernet, which is also very popular, industrial Ethernet. But for CANbus, it's made for lower data rates in the kilobit range, where Ethernet is in the megabit range. And here are some of the lengths. For the applications we're talking about today, these lengths are typically well within what we see. So in the mid-range here, you have data rate of 250 kilobits per second. You can run it up to 250 meters. And then the drops, they have some maximum lengths for the drops as well. So the benefits of a CANbus system, you can lower the cost of your cabling by simply reducing the number of conductors needed. Traditional wiring methods use control wiring, which you need 2 conductors per device. So you have large control cables in, and I'll go through an example in a second here. But CANbus also has centralized components under one system. They're very robust signal integrity and good noise resistance for EMI, very efficient and safe handling of the data. So it's you're not going to get any lost signals in these critical systems. And it's a very flexible system, very flexible network. The standards that drive the CANbus infrastructure and components, you have SAE J1939. I know a lot of you are familiar with this one. And this is in relation to large vehicles, buses, trucks, heavy duty vehicles. Then there's also a lot of applications in industrial automation, and CANopen is the spec that drives that. So the shop floor applications, it's pretty wide. The more we looked into this, there are a lot of applications that CANbus can be applied to. And then where CANbus is born from is OBD2 standard, like the onboard diagnostics for passenger vehicles is very prevalent in that industry as well. Most cars that come from Europe will have a CANbus system on board. Connectors, a lot of choices here. A standard 9-pin D-sub can be used. That's popular in the automation side. DeviceNet is another type of CANbus, but they use the 5-pin mini C or micro C. And in the world we're probably talking about today, the Deutsche connector, the DT series, very popular. There are others, but these are the 3 that we see. Very popular applications that we see from our side. We're dealing with cables and cable guiding systems for moving applications. So boom lift, aerials, telehandlers, work platforms, all things of this nature where the cables need to run and continuously move with the mast here. So that our energy chain would be here and the Chainflex cables would be in. Same thing goes for fire trucks. A lot of critical systems on board these trucks, and CANbus gives them reliability that they need. And we see all types of cable management systems here, pulleys, energy chains. There's a lot of other ways that they manage the cables into the aerial ladder. Within those are the 2 more popular that we see from igus side, but we also see a lot of forklift applications, agricultural equipment. I'm not going to go through all of these, but at CANbus, I was really surprised once we started looking into all the different applications. They even use it in bikes for the electronic shifters now for cycling, and even a prosthetic limb, just for a FYI. So we'll get into the weeds a little bit on an example that shows you the benefits of CANbus from a mechanical standpoint and a cost standpoint. So this at the top here, this is an example of a type of real life application that we've seen on an aerial boom. And that application had two 18 gauge 24 conductor plus one 16 gauge 18 conductor. So here you go. That's like a cross section of what you'd see. And here's the actual application with some hydraulic hoses in, but we'll talk about just the cable. And this is using a steel chain. So the total cost of cable is about $12.19 a foot, and your weight is around 0.7 pounds per feet. By going to CANbus, you can reduce the cost by going to one 18 gauge control cable, 18 conductor, and your CANbus cable. The cable cost goes down to $5.67 per foot at a weight of 0.23 pounds per feet. So you reduce the cable cost by 50%, and you reduce the weight, more importantly, the weight, the cable, 60%. And mechanically, you get smaller bend radius. So cable management system in an energy chain, you have to have a certain bend radius. And if you can reduce that, and with the lower weight, you have less energy needed to move the chain, and you can attain a longer reach. So very good benefits here from such a small change. And now we'll just talk about the cable itself. So the CANbus cables in the industry, there are a lot of choices. Our Chainflex cables are made to reduce or eliminate mechanical failures. So here are the types of cable failures we see in the field: corkscrew, abrasion, very popular here, broken conductors, and jacket cracking due to temperature or whatever, oil exposure, those types of things. Our Chainflex cables, all of our cables are designed for continuous flex, and in particular CANbus. We'll say that not all CANbus cables are created equal. And these are pictures of the construction inside the cable. On the outside, it's tough to tell sometimes what the differences in construction are. So here you'll see conductors with the wrong stranding of the conductors inside can cause big problems. Aluminum tapes with drain wires, and this is a question we get often, is why we're not using drain wires in our Chainflex cables. We do in a couple designs, but it's more, you don't really want to use a drain wire in. They use it here because it's an aluminum tape, and there's no way to terminate the shield. A drain wire just gives continuity between the shield and allows you to terminate it into a pin for a connector. So with a braided shield, there are other ways to do that with solder couplings or pigtail or jumper wires. So drain wire, we'll talk about, we can incorporate it in our custom cables, but on our standard cable, we like to use the braided shield and terminate it because the strain can act it's a failure point in a cable design. And another big problem on standard cables not designed for continuous flex, we see that the jacket material are not designed for moving application, and you can get a lot of cracking and premature failure there. Abrasion is a big problem as well. The CANbus cable that we offer for Chainflex, we have a special design. So there's 3 different cables here. We have a quad cable, which acts as 2 pairs and 24 gauge. And then we have 2 others with 20 gauge. So a single pair and a double pair. So we have special jacket material. We have stranding that's tested and proven for use inside of cable carrier. In all, we offer 15 different CANbus cables from stock. And this is across 3 different main jacket types, and actually 6 total different jacket materials. This is our price advantage, our cost down, life up logic for all of the cables we sell. Will either save costs on your cable or increase the lifetime of your cable. And that's kind of what this graph shows. So yeah, we just wanted to put that out there, that we have all these CANbus cables and other bus cables available as well. And the other thing you get with Chainflex is a guaranteed, tested and guaranteed product. So we guarantee our cables for 36 months, and it's UL verified, which is very unique in the industry. UL has verified our process, our testing, and our 36-month guarantee. So we have a third-party mark on there as well. And the other point I'll say is we have this cable in stock. So a lot of times people need something right away. We have 3.5 million feet in our Rhode Island headquarters ready to go. If you have any questions on the cables going forward, you can reach out to me. I'm going to switch it over to Dan Thompson right now, and he'll give you a little information on our energy chain.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Now we come to the part of the webinar called Got the Perfect Chainflex Cable, Now Get the Perfect Energy Chain. So we've heard from Don about what igus can offer with CANbus cables and the advantages that we can provide. So now we'll talk a little bit about what igus can offer on the energy chain cable management side. So this webinar is targeted to manufacturers of construction equipment, heavy machinery. So on those types of applications, a common solution that we see often is a steel cable carrier, like what's pictured on the screen now. So there are a couple of advantages of a steel carrier compared to a plastic carrier. One of those being that the steel carrier offers the longest possible unsupported spans, and the other one being sustained temperatures above 250 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not that common in those types of applications, but can be seen. However, there are a number of disadvantages with the steel carrier as well. The primary one being that the steel carrier is substantially heavier than a plastic alternative. It can be difficult to populate with hoses. On the example we see pictured, there's multiple fasteners that screw the crossbars to the chain links, and then there's multiple spring pins with C-clips. Probably through the 6 per link there that hold the individual links together. So to assemble, disassemble that, there's a lot of little parts and pieces. Specialized pliers, screwdrivers, bits are all required to take this chain apart, put it back together. It is metal, so unless it's a stainless steel solution, which is not very common, it is subject to corrosion. There are some corrosion-resistant coatings typically put on a steel carrier, but over time, those inevitably do wear out and subject the base metal to corrosion, and they typically are more expensive. So with all those disadvantages, why is it that steel carriers are still commonly used on industrial applications? Well, there's a perception that steel equals heavy duty and plastic is light duty, and that plastic can't hold up to the rigors that a steel carrier can. However, igus has been in business producing energy chains for over 50 years, and for about that long, we've been supplying plastic energy chains to industrial heavy-duty applications. So we've got a couple of examples here, one being on a tunnel boring machine. Those are the two photos on the left and right. So an incredibly dirty, heavy-duty environment where we have a plastic energy chain that's dealing with the advancement of the carriage there, that's in service without any issues. On the right-hand side, we have a directional drill. Again, a very rough, high vibration environment where a plastic chain is working very well. We have a telehandler down below where you see the plastic chain up top. Again, heavy-duty environment where a plastic chain works well. So again, we see on the far right-hand side, we have another telescopic boom lift where you see the plastic cable carrier up top where the kind of near the basket. Going back towards the, on the left-hand side of the page, an asphalt paving machine. Again, a dirty, sticky environment where plastic works well. Another directional drill. The blue vehicle up at the top is a refueling tanker for airplanes, so that needs to be deployed out into service in airports across the country and across the world where snow and ice and also high temperatures in more southerly airports, it's able to deal with all of the different environmental concerns. The chain's a little bit out of frame on that one. You can just barely see it on the left edge of the photo. You can see the curve of the energy chain, but it works well to convey the cables and hoses for that piece of equipment. And then last, an agricultural sprayer. Again, another very dirty, heavy-duty application where plastic chains have been proven for many years. So these are all OEM customers of igus, where we are currently and have been supplying plastic chains into these heavy-duty applications for many years, and where plastic has successfully defeated steel and is giving these manufacturers some technical advantages over what they may have had if they went with an alternate solution. So start to have a couple of points on comparing and contrasting the plastic versus steel, some of the heavy-duty applications that are successfully realized with plastic. So one of the really the primary advantage to a plastic carrier over a steel carrier when it comes to construction machinery, lifting equipment, is going to be weight. So with every pound that you can shave off of the components needed to build the machine is an increase in payload. So comparing and contrasting the plastic chain versus a steel chain, there's a Photo on the screen, that's an example of a steel chain, and we see that it weighs about 15.5 pounds for a roughly 1 meter long of chain. It's a common steel chain used on a number of different types of industrial equipment. Comparing that against the igus alternative, so that chain would potentially cross to an igus H456.10, which is the chain series and size that igus would use to replace that. That has a comparable weight of 7.31 pounds for the same length. So that's a reduction of nearly 50%. igus also offers a lighter weight version that if demands aren't as heavy, we can go even further than that and cross this over to a 140.10 chain. That would give an overall weight of 5.75 pounds, so a decrease of nearly 63% in weight savings. And that's weight that gets added directly back into the payload. So a lot of manufacturers see that advantage, and in a race to try and offer the highest possible payload to their end users, are really concerned with trying to reduce the overall weight of the system and the components that are used to build the machine. And plastic energy chains are a great way to do that. Another advantage we saw in that first photo, how the steel chain used mechanical fasteners and turn pins with C-clips to hold everything together. That can make things difficult to populate and also to exchange cables and maintenance. With an igus energy chain, no special tools are required. The standard crossbars on our normal product range open easily with just a flat-headed screwdriver. So it makes it very easy to open the chain up, lay the cables in, close and open the chain up for maintenance if a cable or a hose needs to be changed down the road in service. That's a feature on all igus energy chains, to be able to be open with no special tools, only a flathead screwdriver. But just recently, we've taken that even a step further with our new product line known as E4Q. So Don, you can advance the slide, and we'll have a short video that shows the E4Q series energy chain. It's a new series from igus that's just been developed and launched this year. And it takes a step further in that it doesn't even require the flathead screwdriver. It works entirely just by hand. So we'll see an animation here of the pieces coming together. So there's a clasp on the crossbar that can just be opened by hand. So really not even the screwdriver is required anymore. So this animation is demonstrating that separators installed, shelving to separate the cables, especially necessary if a cable or hose has a connector on the end of it, or is pre-terminated into the ends of the machine and you don't want to have to disconnect your hydraulic system. The carrier can be changed around the cables if necessary. So that gives us even faster assembly than before, faster filling, and it's an even further decrease in weight than some of the crosses that I had shown earlier that are already offering up to a 63% reduction in overall weight. Touching on a couple additional advantages that igus is able to offer to our customers, we're able to reduce the overall maintenance required to the system. So the plastic cable carrier material has zero corrosion, no matter what. Even there's no corrosion resistant coating that can potentially wear out. The material is inherently corrosion free, and it will maintain that property throughout its entire lifetime. It's also oil resistant, chemical resistant, and UV resistant, so it can live outside in direct sunlight for the entirety of its lifetime. It's resistant to a numerous amount of different types of chemicals that it may see over its lifetime. So really no environmental factors will cause any substantial degradation of lifetime. And we're also often able to reduce cost. We are eager for any opportunities that anyone out there may have for us to quote. We urge you to give us an opportunity to try and quote a plastic energy chain against whatever current solution you're using, even if that's an alternative energy chain. We have production advantages within igus that allow us to even make some plastic energy chains cheaper than other competitors' plastic energy chains. But specifically when it comes to steel or alternate technologies, we're often able to provide a cost advantage as well. So we're eager for any opportunities that anyone may have to quote. So we definitely would like to receive any requests that might be out there. Continuing on, we did speak about how steel cable carriers do offer a longer unsupported span, and that is something that's difficult to overcome with a purely plastic energy chain. So another new product from igus that we've recently developed is the YE series of energy chains, which is a hybrid cable carrier that offers both the benefits of plastic and steel. So we'll see the video play here will demonstrate how the Plastic side links and steel side links are assembled together, so it gives you the advantage of the plastic chain in that it offers certain components made of lightweight material, but also the steel reinforcing side links that allow for a very long and long unsupported span. The molded plastic components allow for that same tool-free or no special tools required to open the system up and close it. So we see in the beginning of the video that these guys have been able to leave the hydraulic system entirely connected to the machine and change the energy chain around it. And as we see, as they play the lift out to full extension, we can see that at a very substantial unsupported span, the plastic and steel hybrid product is still providing for that unsupported span without any sag or concern. So that's a great midway point between a full steel and a full plastic energy chain. If you need a little bit more span than what a all plastic product is able to provide, igus has a very unique solution, pretty much the only one on the market that's able to provide some of the advantages of both plastic and steel in one product. So to wrap up, I'll just touch on some of the resources that igus is able to offer to support any initiatives that a customer may have to implement an energy chain. We offer online CAD files and configuration tools for all of our products, so it's very easy to configure the system that you need, download a CAD model and drop it into your machine. We offer on-site assistance from your igus representative. igus has representatives in all 50 states, as well as Mexico, Canada, and globally. We're very well positioned to conduct any measurement surveys if you need assistance with measuring up the machine, figuring out what product is correct, identifying the cables. If you're using someone else's cables, we can identify it and specify the proper chainflex cable that's required for that application. We offer full system design and quoting. We also offer on-site installation services to include full installation as well as on-site training and demonstrations. So if you are shorthanded as far as installation personnel, igus is able to help install the energy chains onto your equipment. Or we also offer training and demonstrations where we can come on site, train your installation personnel. We offer test drive systems, so if you are a customer that is interested in trying an igus energy chain, but maybe doesn't want to take the plunge to put something like this on an application that's going to be delivered to an end user, we offer test drive systems where we'll give you a free piece of equipment that you use in your own facility, see how it works, familiarize yourself with it, all at no cost. And finally, we offer a 36-month guarantee, similar to Chainflex on the cable side of things. We offer a 36-month guarantee on the energy chain as well. We're the only manufacturer in the industry that offers that. We fully stand behind the ability of the energy chain to work in your application. So with that, we'll wrap up today's webinar. We also offer virtual trade show booth tours. We have a trade show booth set up in our Rhode Island headquarters, where we can speak one-on-one to any customer or group of customers that may have some questions for any of our product experts. Just simply reach out to your territory sales contact and they would be able to set up that booth tour for you if you're interested.